Welcome back to the Deliberate Leaders Podcast. Today, we are talking about leadership contradictions that sound completely backwards until suddenly they don't. Let's start with this one, leading from behind. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, right? Like jumbo shrimp or organized chaos. But stay with me. What if I told you that the best way to lead your team is to let them pass you? I can almost feel some of you tensing up right now. Because we've been taught, it's been drilled into us since day one, that leadership means being out front, visible, the one with the answers, the one steering the ship from the bridge where everyone can see you. That's the movie version of leadership, isn't it? The hero standing at the bow of the ship, wind in their hair, pointing toward the horizon. But here's what I've learned after years of coaching leaders. After sitting across the table from CEOs and founders and executives who look successful from the outside but feel stuck on the inside. Real leadership isn't about visibility. It's about velocity. And sometimes, stepping back is exactly what allows everyone else to move faster. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's a CEO, brilliant, driven, the kind of person who built her company from nothing. Started in her garage type story, worked weekends for 3 years straight. You know the drill. And when I started working with her, she was absolutely exhausted. The kind of tired where coffee doesn't even touch it anymore. The kind of tired where you're effective during meetings, but the second you close your laptop, you just stare at the wall. Her team came to her for every decision. Every single one. Should we approve this budget? Sarah decides. Should we hire this candidate? Sarah decides. Should we change the meeting time? Believe it or not, Sarah decides. And at first, she wore that like a badge of honor. They need me, she'd say. That's what leadership is. Being indispensable. I remember the day she said that to me. We were sitting in her office and I asked her, Sarah, what happens to this company if you get hit by a bus tomorrow? The color drained from her face because she realized in that moment nothing would happen. Everything would stop. That's not leadership. That's a single point of failure. So here's what we discovered when we really dug in. Sarah had become the bottleneck. Not because her team wasn't capable, not because they lacked talent or drive. She had unconsciously taught them that her approval was required for everything. She equated being visible with being valuable. She thought if she wasn't in every decision, she wasn't leading. Sound familiar? Maybe you felt this too. That pressure to be the one with all the answers. The fear that if you're not in the room, things will fall apart. The worry that stepping back means you're not doing your job. I get it. I've been there myself. So we tried something that scared her. We flipped the script entirely. Instead of giving answers, she started asking better questions. Not, here's what we should do, but what do you think we should do? Not, let me solve that, but how would you approach solving that? Instead of running every meeting, she empowered her team to lead. She showed up as a participant, not the conductor. Instead of being the hero of every story, she started celebrating their wins more publicly than her own. She'd stand in front of the company and say, this success belongs to them. Let me tell you what they did. And you know what happened? At first, there was this awkward adjustment period. Her team kept coming back to her, almost asking for permission to make decisions. They'd say, so, are you sure you want me to handle this? And she'd smile and say, I'm sure I want you to try. Within 6 months, everything shifted. Her company's engagement scores shot up 23%. Productivity spiked. Projects that used to take months started taking weeks because decisions weren't bottlenecked through one person anymore. And Sarah? She got her life back. She started leaving the office at 5. She took a vacation, her first one in 4 years. She actually had space to think strategically instead of being buried in tactical decisions. But here's the paradox. The part that still gives me chills when I think about it. When she stepped back, her influence actually grew. Her team respected her more, not less. They came to her with bigger, more strategic questions. They trusted her more because she trusted them. That's the magic of leading from behind. Because here's the truth. You're not disappearing. You're not checking out or abdicating responsibility or becoming irrelevant. You're creating space. Space for others to shine, to stretch, to surprise you, to become the leaders they're capable of being. And while they're doing that, you're quietly, deliberately guiding the direction, shaping the culture, holding the vision, protecting what matters most. It's leadership by design, not dominance. Think of it like this, and I use this analogy with clients all the time. You're not the lead singer anymore. You're the producer. You're in the studio, creating the conditions for the best performance possible. You're setting the tempo. You're bringing out the best in each musician. You're making sure everything comes together beautifully. But you're not the one in the spotlight, and that's exactly how it should be. Nelson Mandela said it perfectly. A leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nimble go out ahead, whereupon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed from behind. That's it. That's the whole thing right there. You're the shepherd, not the sheep. But sometimes the best shepherds let the flock lead the way. So here's what I want you to sit with this week. Not just think about, but really sit with. Where could stepping back create more momentum than pushing forward? What decision are you making today that someone on your team could make just as well, maybe even better? Where have you confused being needed with being effective? Because those are two very different things. And here's the hardest question. What are you afraid will happen if you step back? Name that fear. Look at it. Because usually, when we examine our fears about letting go, we realize they're not based on reality. They're based on old stories we've told ourselves about what leadership is supposed to look like. Just think about it. You don't need to have the answer right now. You don't need to change everything tomorrow. But maybe this week, try one small experiment. Pick one decision you'd normally make and ask someone else to make it instead. See what happens? I think you might be surprised. Because sometimes the most powerful move a leader can make is simply to move aside. Thank you for spending these few minutes with me today. I'm Allison Dunn, and this is the Deliberate Leaders Podcast. Remember, true leadership isn't about being first. It's about thinking first. Next time, we're diving into the confidence paradox, and we're going to talk about how the very thing that made you successful might be the thing holding you back now. I'll see you in the next episode.